Alright, hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening. Yeah, welcome back to a super duper fast paint stream. It's gonna be super fast, guys. Why is it gonna be super fast? Because you guys already know how to noosh from the last one. And that's all I'm working on right now is working on some more ret and uh, and they're just so easy to do now that you have your cool guy noosh uh, your noosh techniques, right? So yeah, we've already done like most of this model because we primed it white and then we did the noosh, right? And you can see that kind of bone tone on it. It's got bone tone and it's got that shading in all the right places, boys. Um, and then we took our really cool guy. Um, I'm gonna have to fix that. Uh, our really cool guy, acrylic crystal from MIG. And we did the cool guy. Oh no, he's lost his hand. Ah, we did the cool guy crystal MIG deal to get all that blue in there, and then yeah, and we painted a little bit of the metallic in there, and like honestly you could finish it like that. There's not much else you really need to do, but we're gonna do a little bit anyway, and we can talk a little Warmachines if you are so inclined. We can talk Warmachines. um and yeah, well, I'm just gonna finish up this model. I'm sorry. I Here's the deal. You guys saw me do the noosh on that other video, and so you need the fair amount of time for that noosh to dry. So I figured, well, I'll catch you up on the other parts, right? Once the noosh is dry, here's what we do. But the only two, so we did the noosh. The only two steps you're missing is I did the blue ammo mig thing, and I did the steel. The rest of this, yeah, and that's it, dude. Right? Like a lot of people are just gonna be like, okay, that's done. That's a done Hypnos. Let's move on with life. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a teeny tiny little highlight on this, right? So it already kind of has that ivory color. We're gonna do off-white though. I'm gonna give it just that last little bit of highlight. Right, I'm just gonna make sure edges are sharp and whatnot. And then I gotta decide if I want those gems to remain this light blue or if I'm actually gonna go in like I did with Homera and dot them in. I don't know. I haven't decided. I might not. Homera kind of looks great with them, but Homera has like much larger gemstones, so you don't necessarily. I don't know. I don't know that you necessarily want to do the same thing on this one, but we'll see. All right. So I'm just gonna do. So all I'm doing right now, we're gonna take a little bit of this off-white, right? And we're gonna take this. We're gonna take our brush. And we're just gonna give this a highlight. Kind of clean up the last bits of the paint job here. Okay. And it is magnetized, so what I can do is I can let this part. I can let the head dry a little bit and then rip the head off if I want to get like back here behind the head. Or I could just use actual, reasonable painting skills and just get around it like that. Right? And I don't want this highlight to take over too much of the model, because I am kind of keeping that bone. The goal is to keep that bone appearance, right? So what this scheme is inspired by, this particular bone and blue scheme, and I know it's very close to the studio scheme, but what I wanted to do with this bone scheme is, oh, hey, what's up, Nelson? Is I wanted, for those of you old enough to remember the original Tron movie, is what I'm going for. I'm going for a Tron, just a, kind of a call out to Tron, the original Tron, which was like black and white with the blue lighting on it. And the black and white over the cloth in those areas on screen looked like bone. It looked like a bone color. Not sure why my comments aren't showing up here. Can I? How do I refresh this? Is there a way to change? Hey. Did it go? Oh, there it goes. Okay. That looks a little better. Okay. So yeah, so that's what I'm going for here. Is I'm going for that Tron, kind of a Tron look on my ret. It doesn't always come through just because of how the miniatures are designed, but specifically on the jacks, I would love it if the jacks reminded me of Tron. So, doesn't quite have as much of the blue, that blue lighting as like your typical Tron suit does. But it's enough for me. It's enough of a call out. What you been up to, Nelson? I know you've been busy with family and significant others and all that stuff. Obviously, we've been playing a lot of Warmachine. Well, I've been playing a lot of Warmachine. Jason's been playing a lot of Blood Bowl. I've been playing a lot of Blood Bowl as well. So that's kind of what has been on the menu lately for us, is some combination of Warmachine and Blood Bowl, and then still getting an occasional game of Malifaux, and Moonstone and Guild Ball. So all of those still in rotation, but right now we're really playing a lot of Warmachine. And yeah, I gotta say, so far I have really been enjoying Warmachine. And I know right around the corner, Chris is gonna try to get me to play bigger points. He's gonna want me to play 100-point games. And I'm not so sure how I feel about that right now. I'm really enjoying 75 points. Really enjoying 75 points. And I would even be okay. Uh-oh. Oh, blue there. I would even be okay playing like 50 points. 50 points would be just fine with me. But I'm not so. But when you get to like those big point games, those 100-point games, Like I could probably do it. It just feels like slightly too much for me. For me, it's like 50 points of 50 Soulstone Malifaux games. It just 50 Soulstone Malifaux just feels like slightly too much for me. But we've already been through that rant before, so I will spare you guys from that rant. My never-ending quest to try to get gamers to chill the F out and play some faster games. That's what I like. Faster games. That said, I did play Hyperion in a 75-point game today. So that was new. It's usually not my style, right, to sink such a huge portion of my points into one gigantic model. That isn't usually how I like to play these games, but I wanted to try it. The excuse I gave was that I knew Jose was coming, and Jose was not about to build his own minis or bring his own minis. So I had to have so what I did was I earmarked stuff that I knew Jose wanted to take, right? And of particular note was um he wanted to use all my Invictors, and he wanted to use and I thought he was going to use Stormfall Archers. So what I did was I built these lists without giving myself access to those units. And I figured, you know what? I might as well use it as an opportunity to put down this big Hyperion model that I painted. Because why not? Right? Let's put down a Hyperion. And let's try it out. So that's what I did today. Is I fielded a Hyperion in a 75-point game, and it didn't really seem all that bad. Played against Sean's Circle, and Hyperion with Assyria was really pretty good. If I'm being honest, like no complaint about that. All right, Hyperion was a great gun platform. With Assyria, you get to shoot its main cannon twice per turn, right? If you're using Assyria's ancillary attack, or if it's in melee, then it gets an extra swing with its big ol' like saber fist things that it's got. And who doesn't like that, right? That thing is like POW 21. It punches you in the face like that thing. That's what's not to like, right? All right, pop this off. Just want to get back here real quick. All right, just kind of clean up that noosh. That noosh back here. But yeah, pretty good. So yeah, 75 points. I'm not saying it's a good list, but it did a lot of work, right? Dealing with a Hyperion at 75 points is gonna be, it is kind of first and foremost in people's heads when they see that big thing across the board is, I better not go over there without a plan, right? How am I going to stop a Hyperion? Is it, what is the Hyperion going to allow my opponent to do? because it's not, unless you've got yourself a really good alpha, and I wasn't able to do anything to it prior to you hitting the Hyperion. The Hyperion's going to be there for probably, at the very least, it's probably going to be there a couple of turns once you hit it, once you charge it in melee. Plus, it has, a generator. Plus, in my list, I've got Arcanists that can keep it repaired and keep it full of focus, so it's just going to continue to punch whatever is in front of it. And yeah, that's like, there's some major considerations around that. Okay, so I'm looking pretty good here, guys. All right, looking pretty good. Let's let that layer dry. In the meantime, let's see if I have the correct green that I like to dry brush with. It's probably here. See if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. And it just so happens there's another model I was finishing up too. Let me show you what I was finishing up. Let's move Hypnos out of the way here. So you can see I've got an iris here. This is a mini crate iris and really cool sculpt. So that's quite fun. I was kind of borking around with that model on Paint Day, and this is the very first Shadows of Ret model I painted. Well, once it's done, she'll be the first completed Shadows of Ret miniature for me. And the plan is to jump into that side of the faction. And start painting up some Shadows of Ret. But mine are, as you can tell, I'm still staying with a fairly pale color scheme, because I want the whole faction, including the sub-factions, to match, because you never know, in an update they might move over, a Legions of Dawn unit, or God forbid a caster, from one side of the faction to the other side of the faction, right? So we never know. Alright. So we're looking pretty good there. I want to give Hypnos another highlight. Let's while we're doing that, before we do that, let's go ahead and finish up her. She's basically done. All I got to do is I'm gonna put a couple of tufts on her, and then do the base, and then we're basically done there. So let's put something right there, and let's put. Do I need another? Yeah, let's do a tiny little one. All right. So let's do tiny little flowers. I'm gonna do just a teeny tiny little flower like this. I'll just do a teeny tiny little flower like that. And then I want to do, I really like these little orange flowers too. So I'm gonna give her, that's gonna be different. A lot of other minis in my Ret do not have these orange flowers. Oh, welcome back. Yeah, we did. We played a lot of Warmachine. A lot. Actually, I only played one game today, but Jose came down and I had to watch Jose and Matt play. Because Chris and I have been playing a fair bit, and so he was like, "You want to play another one?" I'm like, "Actually, I kind of want to watch Jose and Matt play." Because it was one of those rare instances. Like, you know me, I honestly I very much prefer playing to spectating, um, especially something like Warmachine where it really is applied. But it just like Guild Ball, I can watch Warmachine too. I can watch Warmachine and go, okay, yeah, and you know, have a reasonably good understanding and following. Like I could follow along with a stream or a match report. Yes, played a game even though Chris Octave was today. Well, here I'm admitting it. Here, Jose, I'm admitting on the internet, on stream, that you did in fact play a game. Chris may continue to deny it, and I can't stop him from doing that, but alright. So this is a very cool. Iris is very, very cool. Jose actually played. Yeah. Yep. It was like I said, when Jose plays, it's such a momentous deal that I gave up my second game to watch him play. Did I want to play a second game? Hell yeah, I did. But I wasn't about to miss Jose playing Matt. Right? You know, if it was like, let's say it was Jake or somebody else, or if I had a Blood Bowl league game, that okay, sure. I'll skip the I'll skip the I'll skip that game. I mean, I'll skip the spectate to play my own game, but not in this case. Was well interesting. Warmachine Hype. What's up, man? Yeah, dude. Um, yeah. Like I am firmly, guys. I am firmly down the rabbit hole with Warmachine now. I'm really like we're playing tons and tons of it. I'm messing around with lists. I'll tell you, I did not know I would be painting a Hypnos tonight, but so we were watching Jose and Matt's game. A couple of spots here. We were watching Jose and Matt's game, and we were looking at the Warjacks that Jose picked, right? So Jose was running a Hypnos, and he was running a Phoenix, and I was kind of complaining that the Phoenix these days doesn't seem to be really making much of its 14 cost value back, right? Phoenix is by far one of the coolest looking jacks. It's one of the reasons why I chose Ret, was because of how much I liked the Phoenix. But it just 14 back then Phoenix were really tanky because they had the generator rule, which was a little bit different, and then they had Phoenix protocol, which was basically like get out of jail free deal, right? Where when you get disabled, you can just restore parts of your system, which was amazing. So anyway, so Phoenix used to be like, in my mind, used to be like one of the best jacks, one of the best heavy jacks in Ret. But since they took Phoenix protocol away, and subsequently some of the other jacks, in my opinion, got better. Then I was like, I'm not. Oh, these are legacy ones. Yeah, these are old. I'm rocking old models. They don't make Mark IV red. So I'm just gonna write it out, dude. I'm just playing old school. But anyway, um, so I was really disappointed in the Phoenix. And we were talking, and as we were talking, um, Chris pointed out that Hypnos was also really expensive, and I was like, yeah, kind of, right? Hypnos is 15, cost 15, and um, does this and that, but it's not like, how can that be a 15-point warjack? And Chris pointed out, no, it's 16. 16, it's a 16-point warjack. Okay? And these days, anytime you're in the neighborhood of 15 points um, for a construct in red, you're going to be compared to the almighty Trident. Okay? It's just a fact. Like, that is the stigma you're going to have to deal with. Is you will, if you're in that neighborhood, you will be compared to a Trident, right? And even the mighty Imperatus at 17 points is still, some people still do not, would rather take, let's say, two Tridents over one Imperatus and a Trident, because let's face it, Tridents are amazing. Anyway, so all I'm saying is, we were talking about how ridiculous we costed Hypnos was, but now, and I was thinking at 15, but now at 16, it's ridiculously overcosted, or at least appears to be, because of the fact that, for 1 point less, you can have a 30 health D3 times 3 shots Trident, right? Which is amazing. Um, so it was, so it really kind of upset me. Like, I was leaving after the game was over. I was leaving, like, I watched the end of the game, and I was leaving, and I was saying, how, what, why does this cost 16 points for a heavy jack that does not have a generator? Um, I think its range is only 10, and I mean, it's able to put out some nice effects. It is an arc node, and with Hypnos, I mean, with Ossian, like, um the ability to cause, I forget the name of that effect, from range is really freaking solid. Right? Let's look it up. Hold on. Let's look it up. Um, let me see if I can get this thing to share my screen. Since we're so far along in the painting process, we might as well, guys. All right. I don't have my phone app on this. Wait. Phone? Phone link. There it is. Let's open up phone link. Okay. What? How come it's not? Oh, I guess I'm phone linked onto my other PC, which I hardly use. I don't know. I'll just keep doing. Okay. Should let me. Okay, I think this is my pin. Okay. Oh, I also forgot that I don't think I've ever linked to this particular phone on this laptop. So bear with me, guys. We'll talk Hypnos. Is the Hypnos worth it? All right. Use the mobile app on my PC. Ooh, let's do that. Okay. Here we go. I can use Warmachine. There we go. Oh, I need to say yes on this deal. Allow. It's yeah, sure. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Okay. All right. Let me add this little thing to the screen here. Here it is. There it is. You can see it here. Okay. Okay, folks. Let's do this. Let's put this right there. So, all right. Okay. So now. Shit. Oh, what am I doing? All right. So we scroll down here. Let's go here. Okay. So let's have a look at this 16-point Hypnos. Okay. 16-point Hypnos. It's got 30 health. Okay. That's not terrible. Arm 19, Def 12. That's fine. Speed 5, Mat 7. Okay. And then here we go. So this is the main weapon, the phase cannon, which is only range 10. Which, you know, range 10 is like low average for a lot of like ranged weapons, especially on jacks. You know, in Ret we have some of the best long range available, particularly, you know, if you start playing Shadows, you've got a lot of good long range there with Gary. But even Legions has some pretty good long range weapons. So range 10 is a little not great. But look at the rest of the stats for this weapon, not bad. AoE 3, POW 14, 7, magical. That's all pretty good, right? Ghost shot. Geez, it's so hard for you guys to read this, isn't it? I apologize. But you can ignore line of sight, concealment, and cover. That's quite nice for a range 10 weapon. What would make this really, really, really good is if Mr. Hypnos had reposition. That would be incredibly good. Range 10 reposition, I will take any day of the week. I think that would be a major, major boost for Hypnos. But there's still some cool things that we can get into. And then here's on the two melee weapons, you have the rule Shadowbind. Okay, Shadowbind. Model hit by this weapon suffers Shadowbind for 1 round. A model suffering Shadowbind suffers -3 defense. That's pretty sexy, and cannot advance for 1 round, though it can be shaken. So if you are going to do Shadowbind onto, you know, a Jack or a caster, it's not as cool. But you know, the other thing is too, if you hit a unit, it's only that model that cannot move, and so units can actually kind of cheat their way around Shadowbind, and it's the model hit. So if you actually kill like a 1 wound model in a unit, the Shadowbind is gone, right? It doesn't affect anything. So that kind of sucks, right? So Shadowbind, you want to, it's more about using Shadow Bind to set up targets during your own turn, assuming that a decent target, if you're like targeting a jack or a caster, that they're absolutely going to shake that on their turn. If you hit multi-wound infantry with it, sure, I guess that's fine, but POW 14, you're still going to hurt something pretty bad. But Shadowbind is right. That's one of the main things that you're buying. Oh, hey, what's up, Cam? That you're buying for Hypnos, right? So again, I'm going to ask you guys this. Where is it? Can I do it? Can I do it? What? All right, here we go. Let's put it in. All right, there you go. Okay, so here's your poll question. Is it worth 16 points? And I'm assuming 16 points with the bonded bonus with Ossian. Okay. So that's Hypnos without Ossian's cool guy things. Okay. What did I do with the screen? Here it is. All right. So let's go back. Let's look at what Ossian can do for this thing. The bond bonus is that you get that shadow bond, that -3 defense and cannot advance on the ranged weapon as well as on the melee weapons. So I look at that. I look at Shadowbind, a ranged Shadowbind, as no, with the bond, Jose, with the bond bonus, because I definitely do not. I definitely think Hypnos is not worth it without the bond. If you're running any other caster and the choices between Hypnos and the Trident, just smack someone in the head. The the Trident is well worth it on that. So yeah, I look at that -3 defense as a really nice potential setup. So what I mean by that is, like, let's say, I was playing against Circle today. Circle has some of their war beasts like were rocking like defense 15, 17 in some cases. Like there was some crazy high def in the case of the Warpwolf Stalker, right? So if Hypnos and let's add some color to this, okay? So under Ossian, you'll gain future sight on Hypnos. So Hypnos can boost after the fact. So if he misses and you just barely miss that crazy, you're shooting at def 15, you need a 9 with Hypnos, and let's say you roll an 8, or you roll some things like, man, if I just add one more dice, I could boost and hit. That can be pretty critical, right? But let's skip down. Here's some other cool guy things you can do with Hypnos. Is this guy here, Foresight, right? And Foresight is a 3 upkeep, which is fantastic. So you can re-roll your missed attack rolls. Not missed melee attack rolls, just missed attack rolls. That's hot fire, right? So again, you're trying to hit high defense. You'll be able to re-roll the miss, and if it's really critical, you can boost after the fact. Again, that's pretty nice. So high defense target, multi-wound target, that's pretty hot. You get it on your melee weapons too, but I really love admonition on Hypnos because you want to I think you want to keep Hypnos out of trouble until it's time for Hypnos to, to put on the big boy pants and get in there. But without a generator, you don't. I'd rather people be trying to shoot at Hypnos. And admonition makes sure that you're keeping Hypnos in a ranged fight as opposed to letting him get charged and overwhelmed. So that's really cool. And then the fact that he's an arc node. So all your super hot Arcantric Bolt right through a Hypnos is pretty sick. That means Ossian can do his cool guy Arcantric Bolt and even Eliminator. Eliminator is kind of fire too. Let's be real. Even though it's only ranged 8, but what you can do with Eliminator, with let's say you have Ossian move into range of his cannon, which by the way, guess what that does? -2 speed and defense. And there's no saying it doesn't. It can totally stack with your cool guy -3 speed or -3 defense. So you can have -5 defense on something if you really need pain. If you really need to cause pain on something that is, reasonably high defense, you can stack both of those things. And make it basically so you're going to just auto hit that sucker. And then, but it's probably, you're probably going to want to spread these effects out, right? Because being able to slow down an opponent on one side, slow down another opponent on another side, like that's, all this stuff adds up, right? You can use Arcantric Bolt to just make something stationary. So you can do stationary on one target. You can do Shadow Bind on another target. So it's got to shake it. You can do -2 speed on top of that if you want. You could do -2 speed on somebody else. I mean, that's a kind of toolkit for a caster that I think it does want to play a little bit more of the attrition game, say, than most Ret casters. Shadowbind is on the gun of the model directly hit. Yeah, no, you can't. Right, the AOE does not. You can't Shadowbind things that are caught in the AOE. You're right. But still, that's a pretty valuable toolkit. I had thought about, okay, what if I put a Gorgon in there with a spray 8 -2 speed that can actually lock? It's pretty sick. Like you can, with a Gorgon, you're gonna add another with a spray 8, everything hit -2 speed, re-roll your hits, and you could leave the Gorgon there, sitting there with 3 focus on a generator. Like, that's a pain in the ass. And not to mention, if the Gorgon engages something, then you can't move at all. You can't, it's not like you can stay in the melee range and move. Like, Ossian has tools to just make you not go anywhere. Right? That's what I was trying to say during your game, Jose. I was like, you have like really cool tools to force people to play this longer ranged fight. You can mess with their threat ranges. You can reduce their speed. You can take, and oh, by the way, this is hilarious as well. You have an auto hit dispel, or you have an auto dispel on your on your somewhat underwhelming melee weapon. That's pretty sexy in a bind, right? So let's say I'm just gonna make shit up, right? So let's say, and he has dual attack, okay, but he can't. It's not a pistol. Damn it. Anyway, but let's say Ossian, let's say he is up against that mammoth that's got the binding ward on it or whatever. and you still want to be able to mess with that mammoth, well, you can smack it, and then you can hit. Then you can shoot this eliminator spell outside of combat, hit a squad, and let's say you kill at least 2 guys on a PAL 13-8. Then you get to move 4 inches away. By the way, you could do that. You could do that eliminator before or after you move because it's a spell. It's pretty sick, dude. So rolling up on people, putting the temporal distort out at range 12, and then spelling out with eliminator is you're Tau, dude. You're just like, oh, okay, I'm out. Peace. That shit is hilarious. Like, Ossian has good tools. I just don't like the sculpt. That's my main issue with Ossian. Do not like the sculpt. My man has 3 upkeeps, which are pretty sick. You're gonna want to have all 3 of these up. Admonition you add later, because you don't need admonition in the first round. I don't know, unless you're playing against Legion or something stupidly fast, like if you're playing up, yeah, you generally have the other 2 up, because think about turn 1, you're not getting off either of your AoE spells. So these are I'm just talking my mess, guys. You know I'm a noob. Could be wrong. But no, you put both of these up, you camp 1, and then you just upkeep after that. So he's pretty cool, guys. He's pretty cool. I know a lot of people talk shit that Legions of Dawn is not good. I don't know, man. I've been having a lot of fun with my girl Issyria and Viros. I've been having a lot of fun with those 2 casters. Because like for the lulls, I'm like putting big shit on the board. I'm like, oh wow, that actually kind of works. Issyria with a Hyperion is no joke. Like, that's pretty disgusting. She can make that Hyperion such a pain in the ass to kill. And you get to shoot twice with its big old mammer jammer cannon. Like, that's pretty sick, guys. Alright. How are we doing here? I need to do another layer of white. But yeah. It's bugging me. 16 points is bugging me. Because of the fact that tridents exist. I'll be honest with you, that's the main thing. But I mean, we did at least discuss like some cool deal stuff you can do with the Hypnos. Legions of Dawn's fine. Oh, hey, that's what I went into today, Cameron. I went into Chromac, and it was rough. It was rough for my boy Sean. It was tough. He had Chromac had here. We could do this because we're on my phone. All right, so we can look at. Oh shoot. Never mind. We can't do this. Oops. I forgot. I put the game on my other tablet. But yeah, Chromac. So I was playing into Chromac. I think you can see. Here's what. Yeah. This is what I ran into Chromac. Right. So I had Issyria, Chimera, who is 12 points, Jose. You want to talk about an awesome named character, Jack? In my opinion, the second best named character Jack in faction is Chimera. I think Moros, just for the points, is just disgusting. Is like disgustingly good for 9 points. But Chimera is right there at 12 points for a Jack that saves you a bunch of focus, that is shifty as hell to try to hit. And guess what? Has a generator. Looking at you, Hypnos. Get a generator. Come on. I know you're a Vire Jack. Like, get with the times, buddy. Yeah, Chimera at 12 points is a steal. Is phenomenally good. But yeah, I ran Chimera, Hyperion. I took my boy Emo Jon Snow there. The Simp, I got the Simp Knight and the Feign Knight. I don't think so. See that? I don't know. I probably wouldn't with Ossian. Her shot is pretty good though. It's like a range 14. Like her cannon's pretty good, and it dispels on crit. I mean that's a AOE 3. That's nothing to balk at. Yeah, his list was he had a big battle group, so it was Chromac. In fact, I can grab my tablet and just read it to you. Let me just run some analysis. Whoops. This Warmachine app is pretty dope for stuff like that. If you want a Monday morning quarterback your stuff. All right. Warmachine. Well, I mean, that makes sense, Jose. If you really are just leaning more into the arc node side of it, that makes sense. If you want that shadow bind at range, then Hypnos is your boy. It's actually not a bad thought, actually. Well, see, never worth. Why not try it? All right. So yeah, we were talking about. Oh no, it's not on here. Wait, maybe it is. Yeah. Okay. So the Chromac list. So Chromac with a pretty large battle group: Getorix, Gorax Rager, a Scarsfell Griffin, and a Warp Wolf Stalker. Right. I mean, they're not bad choices, but you do want a reasonably sized battle group with Chromac for the cool guy feat stuff, the smooth move. He also running a Lord of the Feast, Tharn Ravager White Mane, and then 2 Tharn Blood Packs. So pretty elite list. I think that was one of the issues. You've got everything is multi wound. It's all reasonably fast. You've got fairly high defense. It could be higher, like Chris pointed out. You could modify this to run the higher side of the defense. But it's an elite list. So if you hit an elite list hard enough, the big weakness here being he only had 2 units, and we were playing what's it called, the wolf thing with the moving 40. That particular scenario, if you don't have units to move, to be there to move that thing, it's bad. He didn't. Oh no, he did. So here's kind of the rundown. The first turn of the game, he has first turn. He runs up. He gets both of his blood packs into the woods, which is absolutely perfect, right? Yes, you want to do that. The one issue is I was able to extend threat. So what I did with so I ran up Chimera, or I might have just I think I may have just moved and repoed, but either way, I got Chimera into range. Um, I got Hyperion up and ran Hyperion up. Then through Chimera was able to Blinding Light off a boosted hit off Assyria, right? So I basically took the Woods bonus away, and then I did ancillary attack on the main cannon, and that killed, and I spiked on the AOE, so it killed one blood tracker out of the gate, or one blood pack out of the gate, and killed the second one, and he was Blinding Light, so he can't do any ranged attacks with them. The only target even remotely in range was Chimera, but admonition on Chimera, so you don't want to walk up there and just die. So that was immediately one of his units. Like, first turn of the game, one of his units was absolutely pointless. And in Wolves Out of Your Heel, you need your units to score. And so what he did was he then no, he didn't make. Huh? Do they have tough? I do not see tough on here. They do have tough. Why wasn't he rolling that? I think he forgot to roll tough. Ouch. Well, there you go. I think there you go. That's a big deal. I even asked him. I'm like, don't you have a tough to roll or anything like that? And he was like, no, I don't have tough. So I guess he missed it. I assume they had tough. I mean, this is not a cheap unit. So, anyways, taking one of the unit out that was opposite my unit that was pushing forward the 40, and they were Riz defenders. My Riz defenders didn't have to really do anything, because what happened next was Geterix, he starts to threaten the whole middle with Geterix, and he's got the Warp Wolf and the Gorax. Gorax is kind of second waving, and the Warp Wolf is coming along his strong flank. So what I did was I knew that was coming down the strong flank, so I pulled all my ponies off to the other side that were just going to countercharge. But then he put Geterix in Hyperion's charge range. I was like, sure about that? He's like, yeah, I don't really have a way out of this. So then, then I went full alpha. I feeded and Heroes Called and charged, and at that second turn charge, at the end of the second turn charge, all he had left was he had no units left. He had the Stalker, the Gorax, his Caster, and both solos. But both solos were on 1 health. So it was that after I feet and then just all out charge, it was bad. Basically ate the Geterix with Hyperion, and Hyperion just shooting other stuff with whatever it had left, and then there really wasn't anything much after that. So yeah, it's that list is it really does, you really do. He might have been better off running both of his units together with that 40, and then just trying to sack. If he actually had them on the one side and then sent the Warp Wolf Stalker up against the defenders I had on my objective, that might have been better. So that was, yeah, like that that turn two, my turn two was basically decisive. There was no there he really had no coming back after that, because now I'm spamming blinding light everywhere, like whatever just needs to die. Blinding light, and then I can just hit it with cavalry. I can just hit it with Hyperion, and it's just gonna die. So yeah, that's why I'm thinking, like, if he had kept, maybe if he had kept both of those units together, that's 48 health with tough, right? 12-inch range and pretty strong. Their bows are pretty high power. And he had woods to do it. At least he had woods to do it for at least the first couple of turns. So I mean, and I don't mean this to sound negative or anything, right? It's we're not. I don't think we're not picking on Sean. It's just this is our Monday morning quarterback shit, right? Of course, like, we're talking as if, we could have done better. Nah, you never know. You put yourself on the board, people are they'll see your mistakes all day long, right? I know Kevin does that to me every time we play Guild Ball. He's like, "Oh, you could have just walked over there. You won the game." Damn it, But that's, yeah. So, I mean, there's scary stuff in that list. I just think that with such a low model count, every decision really needs to be really deliberate. Like, I really think he should have kept the second one. When he saw what I did to the first unit of blood trackers with Hyperion, he should have kept that other one out. He should have kept and held Getorix. He should have held Getorix until his feet, because that would have hurt. Because if he was able to feat with Getorix and the Warp Wolf, just those two, even if he lost the other two beasts, like that, he could have put some real hurt down. But as it stands, like, it was still a really good game. When he lost the Getorix, at that point he realized there's no real stopping Hyperion. At that point, Hyperion is now completely, can just walk around the board like a big old man and decide whatever he wants to do. So anyways, so a little bit of analysis of the games today. Okay, let's close our poll. Let's see. What was the end of the poll? Oh, okay. I know who voted no. We know what happened there. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. What is it? What? Stop. What's going on? Okay. Oh, man, I am all over the place. Sorry, guys. This here. Oh. I can't just overlay it? You're over the yes vote. Okay. All right. We're just about to wrap this up. My plan is this. If I do free up tomorrow, we are gonna use this boy. And I need to know for myself, is this thing worth 16 points? And Chris will be yelling no at me while I'm playing. You just need to know. I mean, it's a cool looking jack, so that it's got that going for it, right? It's cool looking. That's got to count for something. It's a character jack, and I've always loved the idea of character jacks in Warmachine. everybody remembers Discordia. Discordia was disgusting, right? Discordia was just, that was a great character Jack. We need more Jacks like that. Discordia was just too, it was just too damn good, if I'm being honest. Discordia was really, really, really good. Alright, anyway. Let's put this here. Boop. Okay. Okay. You sold off all your circle, now I may look for it. Give me a rough. You played into rule. Okay. Yeah. The debate rages on. Is Hypnos worth it? Oh, man. Repo on Hypnos would be amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Repo on Hypnos would easily swing my vote over to yes. Because Repo is good. Yeah, let's play some Hypnos. Otherwise, if I don't get to play tomorrow, probably it's high time I start painting some of the Shadows of Ret stuff, so I can get started there. I'll probably start with a unit of Wardens and a unit and at least one Executioner, because I know those will paint up fast. I should paint up an Attorney or whatever they're called, Attorney. It's kind of funny that it sounds like Attorney. I should paint up. So I should paint up all the simple, like all this stuff. Like, it's very rare for me to just be working on one Jack with this kind of color scheme. It's very, like, you can just crank them out. So I could do a bunch of Jacks out of the gate like that. And the Wardens and stuff too. Like, they're all pretty easy that way. Let's see. I don't know, just having Shadow Bind on anything in your army should be setting off the giggity cool. Yeah. Right. So, the stuff that's going to take long in Shadows will be actually some of the other smaller units, right? Mage Hunter Strike Force, the Infiltrators, the Spears of Syra, right? All of those they have slightly more complex color schemes. I haven't really decided what the robes are going to be for Shadows. I need to stay with this bone on the armor because it's sick. But, like, for example, her robe is that light blue that I've been rocking. I kind of like that. Or I might go more like that navy blue, right, for them. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But, yeah. So, okay. We know Chimera is great. There's no argument there. Chimera is a fantastic character, Jack. Anyway, so at least this chat disagrees with Chris. They think that Hypnos is worth 16 points with Ossian. Not, I don't think anybody thinks Hypnos is worth 16 points without Ossian. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on this being 16 points. For the reasons I said. No generator, no repo. Oof. obviously Ossian can give it some pretty nice buffs. I I'm like, what? Who else would this thing be good with? I mean, considering Assyria has a way better version for 4 points cheaper, that's going to be a hard no. Considering Veros has Imperatus, that's a hard no. So who do you got left? You got Helena, who basically wants to run a large battle group, but would much, much rather run everything in that battle group have a generator. So yeah. So yeah. So it really is. This thing really is loyal to one and one alone. I mean, you can make some arguments that like Jose was saying, like Chimera wouldn't be horrible with Ossian, because Chimera even without the cool guy free spells and stuff, like Chimera's bond is super good with Assyria, but even without that, it's not the most terrible thing in the world. Still has a nice gun, still a really nice arc node, still has repo, still has a generator. 12 points, sign me up. Like, it's pretty good, right? Let's see. Most of the time, the character Jack battle group models in Legacy are better with, and implied to be better with the caster. Yeah, because the bond bonuses are usually quite good. The bond bonuses for Chimera are super good, but even without the bond bonuses, like it's a good. That's a pretty decent Jack, right? At 12 points though, if you don't need the arc node, Hydra is really good. 12 points for Hydra, Hydra is arguably my like unsung hero. Love the Hydra in my non Hyperion Assyria list. And yeah, because I run more unit heavy, so it's a Hydra and Chimera, and then a bunch of cool guy units. So it's all good times. Anyways, man, we gotta play more. I was a little bummed. I was hoping, I hope Jake had a good time out of town, but he's looking to get back into it. Yeah, I got to get in. We got to get in some more games with Jake, and he's gonna have Gators, and he's got we call his mercs the blue whale heavy assault knights from Berserk. So we just been quoting all of Adon Korbowitz stuff. It's been passed down from the Korbowitz family for 500 years. You can look forward to that when he puts his mercs on the board. I think it's Damiano. He's gonna put Damiano on the board. We're just gonna be doing nothing but Adon Korbowitz movie quotes or series quotes. Yeah. Jake is just picking cool shit. Oh my gosh. I really want to run some Fiona the Black. I really do. I think she is so fun. Her, and obviously I love the Nautical Jacks, but her cultists are cool. Like, that would be fun. I got too much shit though. I really should not be looking at another faction. Oh, Cam, if you're what I know it's a bit of a drive, but yeah, our shop here gonna be making some stuff available. We may have to call you out for that. Yeah, that was the the two factions I had in Mark II was I had Adeptus Ron, obviously. So I had Ron Stoppable. So all this stuff I'm playing now, actually, Assyria wasn't even she wasn't even out when I was playing. So I think my plan back then was to play just Ron and Ron alone. So I had Adeptus Ron and I had all the mittens you could count, and then on the other side of it, and my other faction was Fiona. So I had Fiona, I had the press gangers, I had whatever the regular pirate dudes, and I had two heavies, and then and one light, and that was um, my Fiona army. I just really like I never even got to play her. We sold all our stuff before I ever got to play Fiona. But I always wanted to. Like, oh my god, I want to figure this out. I want to play that because the nautical jacks were so cool. Fiona's such a cool model too. I don't know. So yeah, that's the problem with Warmachine is you like so many things, but now I own too many things, and they're all in one faction. But that's okay, right? Well, Chris, we're gonna seal this. We're sealing them up tomorrow. Are you worth 16 points, buddy? I mean, it looks cool. At least it's a cool looking. You know what I like about this guy is I think he will fit in my middle tray. That's very important. Very, very important. I can stick a name. My other character jacks are too tall. Oh yeah, he will definitely fit because she fits in the middle tray, and she's right. She's actually taller than him from the tip of her wings. So yeah, so he's gonna fit just fine. All right, guys. Well, that was enough talking for one night. But let me remove this thing and let's delete it. All right. So yeah, that's gonna do it for our stream, everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. Yeah, Cam. Hopefully we can get together, dude. Let's try to get like some people together. Play some Warmachine. Sounds like fun to me. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Oh, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.